gamers, welcome back to episode 2 of the Game Master's Dungeon. Once again, I am Brian, your Game Master, and this is CJ.
How's it going?
So today we're going to talk about the 10 Commandments of Gaming. So this isn't like written in stone. Haha, joke.
Haha, I see what you did there.
Yeah, you see what I did there? So really, this is a list that I found years ago that I've kind of tweaked and made for myself for my game group. I believe every game group should have either some rules or their own 10 Commandments. It really helps to set some clear rules on what to and do not do.
Cut some of the chaos out of
the game. You know, because otherwise people will just run wild. They're like children.
Oh, yeah.
We're like children. Gamers are like children if we don't have a little order, right? I agree.
Yes.
If you agree, comment in the section below. So let's just get started, shall we?
Yeah, let's do this.
Alright, so the first one that I have here, so I am RPG thine game. Thou shalt have no other games before me. Okay, what does that mean? So for me, what it means, so as an example, so say we are playing Pathfinder, like our group is now. And it's game night, and we're all ready to play. Someone does not need to bring over a different board game, or a card game, or a video game, and play that instead. Role-playing is a responsibility, right? It's
Play responsibly.
Play responsibly. Drink responsibly as well.
Indeed.
So it's like if the game master is going to put in the time and the effort to put it all together, when you guys show up, you should play the game. I know we have a tendency to we'll jump around, we'll play one system for a while, then we go to another system, then we go to another system because I get so many ideas, or somebody will be like, man, I'd really like to play, Death Watch or something. Okay, cool, I can work up something for Death Watch, and we play a few games of that. But in the end, we're going to plan to play tabletop RPG. That's what we're going to play.
Yeah, usually when we set in stone, 2 weeks or a week before, that's usually what our game nights consist of.
Yeah, so it's like, don't be like, well, I'm going to go do something else instead, or whatever. Like dating girls. Right?
Ridiculous.
I mean, it's crazy talk, right? But hey, it's a responsibility. And we're going to talk more about that in a bit. So number 2.
Number 2.
So thou shalt not cheat. It is an abomination. Why anyone would ever cheat over the age of 12 or 13
It's astounding.
it is. Like, why? So say we're playing
Outbreak
Undead. And
percentile based game.
yeah. So, cheating would be like he's lying on his numbers, or he's changing his character sheet, or he's
Lying on his stats.
yeah, lying on his stats, changing his rolls, things like that. Like, there's no winner, right? There's no money on the game, so why would you need to cheat? Because, and then it makes it not fun for everyone else, especially if they catch you cheating.
Oh.
Because you will get caught, because the number of lies you're going to have to tell about your stats and all this other stuff.
Digging yourself deeper.
Yeah. So just don't do it. Like, we're not children, right? Most of us are mature adults. I think we can handle playing the game for what it is. So number 3. So thou shalt not take thy game too seriously. So what does that mean? Obviously, we just talked about it being a responsibility and not cheating and stuff like that. There's a difference between taking it too seriously. So say I got my attack, I throw my d20, and I roll that 1, and if I just go, flip the table over, or storm out of the room, or throw stuff, now you're taking the game a little too seriously. First of all, it's not fun for the people around you that are, sitting there
wondering.
Awkward silence,
What's going on?
and then, the DM or whatever just sitting there
It's that black sheep we were talking about.
Black Sheep. Remember episode 1? We talked about Black Sheep.
Yeah.
You're going to be mentioned several times here. This one's for you.
Don't be that person.
You're going to play an RPG, you're not always going to live to the end. Your character can die. You will miss attacks. You will fail rolls.
You'll roll low on damage.
You'll roll low stats. That's why the game uses dice, which we're going to talk about a little later as well. But I mean, the biggest thing is just to have fun with it. I mean, if something happens to where like your character is just not fun, well, first of all, it's on your fault for building a character like that. Then obviously you need to consult with your GM, DM, storyteller, and be like, hey, voice your concerns, because he wants you to have as much fun as the rest of the party.
He may find a solution.
Oh yeah,
Most of the time.
like a quick, easy fix, so then we can just get back in the game. All right, so number 4. So thou shalt not min-max. Okay, this is not a video game.
I didn't know what this meant before until he explained it.
So min-maxing, a good example. All right, I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to be a ranger. So rangers need Dex and Wisdom. Well, what race gives me Dex and Wisdom modifiers? Elves. So now I'm going to be the elf ranger. My highest stats are going to be in Dex and Wisdom to get my racial bonus, and then all of my other stats are going to be like 8 or 9. So I'm going to have like 18, 19 in my 2 primary stats that modify my attack, my damage, and my skills. But then the rest of the character is just going to be very just bland, right? So that's min-maxing. Like, there are not people like that. Like, everybody has flavor, right?
That's true.
Not everybody just excels at 1 or 2 things. Like, everyone will have things that, what's wrong with having the fighter with a high intelligence? They all don't have to be dumb brutes, right? You don't always have to soak the strength and the con in there.
It helps.
I mean, it helps. It makes your character better in combat. But like I said, role-playing game, it's not just about combat. If all you want to do is kill stuff, go play World of Warcraft or play some other hack and slash video game or something. God of War or whatever.
Yeah.
You want to kill stuff, that's the way you do it. But that's not what this is, because you need to have those other skills. You need to have that other flavor, that pizzazz to your character to make it more enjoyable to play. It'll actually feel like a real person.
Well, not feel. You can't. Well, I guess the model. Just. It feels so weird.
So number 5. So thou shalt not break the game. Now, a lot of people are like, what is this? So breaking the game is like when you creating, like, say, feat combinations or creating powers and races and all this other stuff that the game doesn't support or wasn't meant to support. Sure, it might be fun for you to have this character that's overpowered or has all these other advantages, but what about the guy next to you that's playing, stock stuff out of the book? I mean, he's made his character, he likes his character, but he's not getting he's not killing everything, he's not getting all the experience, he's not doing everything, he's not the center of attention. So breaking the game is really about trying to become the center of attention in the game table, and it's not what it's about. It's a party game, it's a party atmosphere, so everybody needs to be on the same level. So if you want to do that kind of stuff, once again, go play a video game or something. I mean, like, you want to be the center of attention, you can sit at home alone in the dark in your underwear and play your game. But this, like, everybody needs to be running on the same principles and the same level of equality. That's what this one refers to.
Unfortunately, a lot of us kind of suffer from this too. So.
And sometimes it happens, like, not intentionally. Like, you're like, oh, this is cool, and then eventually you get to the end where you have this certain combination that go together that's just more overpowered than everything else.
Broken.
It's not really your fault. You were just like, oh, this is cool, but then that's where the GM will need to step in and moderate. Like, I'm going to talk more on how to GM and, like, what kind of power you should have and how you should use it. But as a player, like, you really need to listen to the GM. Like, everything needs to be cleared through the GM or DM or whatever game you're playing. And, hey, this is my character. This is what I want to do with it. Is this acceptable? Can I take these feats? Can I take these skills, kind of thing? So then maybe he needs to work it into his story. Maybe he needs to take his notes, right? It needs to be a collaborative thing there. So number 6. So thou shalt honor thy game master and storyteller. So this is going to tie in to number 5. So if the game master, so like myself, so say I'm going to put in all this labor it's energy, it's time, money. If I have to buy new books or new materials and figs and all this other stuff. And I'm going to put all this together, and then if people come and just are disrespectful, they don't listen, they don't take care of the stuff that I loan them or give them, like that's just disrespectful, and that's gonna break up your gaming group so fast.
Or if they constantly like argue,
yeah,
and try, or if they're like really heavy set on following the rules and they're constantly looking them up and fighting with the GM about, oh, this rule doesn't match what you're saying.
You know, so you gotta know, like, the GM, like, if he says, like, this is how it's gonna go, you don't take 20 minutes and flipping through your book and being like, well, this rule says otherwise. GM is the law.
I am the law.
So, like, most GMs will try to make it fair. Like, if I ever make, like, a decision, like, on the fly, like, if I get some arbitrary rule, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes looking for it. I'm just going to make a decision right there for that encounter or for that particular moment. That's going to be as fair as I can make it for the player. Sometimes it's not everybody's going to be happy, but that's not why we're here. We're not here to make everybody happy, because we're going to go back to those. We're going to go back to this taking the game too seriously. Like, bad stuff will happen. You will roll poorly. People will die in game. It's just is what it is. But you got to take everything as a whole to make it fun. Okay? Number 7. Thou shalt bring thine own stuff. In general. So, stuff. What's stuff? It's dice, pencils, paper.
Books.
Books for the game. Like a good example, like I have, this is my DMing, GMing binder. I have page protectors, I put all my stuff in, I have extra character sheets to hand out, I put notes in here, I've got, I got graph paper and things like that, I've got maps in there, like everything I need to be a GM for that game is in here. I'm not saying everybody needs to be as organized as this, but you at least need to try to bring your own stuff. Like, if you're first getting into a game, if it's your first game, and you're like, oh hey, I'd really like to play, and somebody invites you into the group, they'll give you a character sheet, loan you some dice, some pencils, they'll kind of teach you the rules.
Books.
Yeah. But if you become a consistent mooch, like nobody's gonna like you. Like in our game group, like everybody's got to kind of contribute something. Like nobody just gets to come and just take advantage of everything else. But also, then on the same token, you don't want to be like a Scrooge. Like, if I've got dice, like, they're not made of gold. I didn't pay $1,000 for them. I'm like, CJ, you need some dice. You forgot yours. Here's a set of dice. All on top of that, thou shalt treat thine other's stuff as if it were thine own. So, don't drop my dice into the fireplace. Do not throw them in the garbage. Do not chew on my pencils. Do not rip pages out of my book. That's just disrespectful, going back to the honor thy game master and storyteller. Because a lot of times the game master or storyteller is going to loan a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He's going to have the books.
Just because he owns most of the stuff.
Yeah. Like as an example, like almost all of this stuff that's sitting here on the table is mine.
Yeah. Well,
actually, all of it is except for the Warhammer 40k book. We all kind of went all, partials on it. But everything else is mine. But I mean, I'm welcome to share it and let it used.
The good thing for that is don't throw stuff, because that also adds to the atmosphere of the game. And if you are borrowing somebody else's stuff, you don't want to, potentially damage their stuff, or if you're even at their house,
because that's not going to get you invited back.
Yeah.
So you might have enjoyed yourself, but if you're disrespectful to everyone, you're not going to be invited back. And then when it comes to bringing your own stuff, like if you decide you like the game and you want to play more, like you're kind of going to be required to at least buy your own, as an example, buy your own player's handbook for Dungeons & Dragons, or the core rule book for Anima, so you can learn, you can read in your off time, and things like that. Okay. Number 8. Thou shalt learn the system. So that's one of those things, it's kind of loaded. I mean, even back to this, it's just on top. So even Outbreak Undead, I don't know all 400 and something pages, whatever this is. Yeah, 420 something pages of rules. I don't know it all. That's dumb. I don't think anybody out there that plays any kind of tabletop game knows every single rule, but you need to know the generals, right? How combat works, how character creation works. Like so, as a GM, I'm gonna speak as from a GM. He'll be able to speak as a player. So as a GM, I need to know character creation, like initiative, combat, magic system if it's needed, weapons, and then some different modifiers. I mean, a lot of games will provide a DM screen, which are really good to have because it'll have like all of your charts and references in there for easy access. Because like you need to know those things because if the situation comes up, you don't want to be spending 10 minutes looking up the rule. Oh, how far can I move? Or
oh, timeout. I gotta do this, and then you're on timeout for God knows how long.
Because then people get up and go to the bathroom, and they go for smoke breaks, or they go get food or whatever. An hour later, you might be back in your game, and now you don't even remember where you're at. So talk to us. So as a player, what does this mean to you? Thou shalt learn the game.
As a player, learning the system, pretty much it means to me like learn the world you're going to be playing in. Like if you're playing a percentile game, learn what you need to bring, what character creation, yeah. Most of the stuff you just said is pretty much what a player needs, besides, the DM screen and whatever the DM is doing. You don't need to see that. That's
and also, like, you got to know your character, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, all your feats, your skills, your powers, your abilities, all that stuff.
And where your character, what way your character wants to go.
Yeah. So you need to know what your character can do and what your character is going to do, because I don't want to spend every 30 seconds, hey, I've got this feat, or I've got this power, can you tell me what it does? Oh, what does this do again? Like, we're going to come back to bring your own stuff, so you're going to have your own book, but eventually, or at least take notes,
Like, when
use
you're
the book.
Character creation, when you're looking at feats or you're looking at skills, write down the page number next to said feat or skill. That way you have a quick reference so you can immediately flip to that page if you have questions on it. I found that easy. Like, it helps me as I play.
Yep. So, you might not be able to remember every spell. You write a page number down. You can just be like, oh, it's almost my turn. Get to your page. Okay, I'm going to cast, or I'm going to do X, and then you can get right there to it. So, just as I've got it written here, this is a good thing. So, if you don't know the rules, then someone else has to do the work for you, which isn't fair. Take care of your own character creation, do your own bookkeeping, understand how your abilities work. Otherwise, you're just a douche. If you're going to play the game, learn it. So on and so forth.
Simple enough.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just gonna come play once just to hang out, then you're probably gonna go back to this like RPG, like Thou Shalt Have Other Games Before Me, and there's another one we're gonna talk about where just bringing people in for a one-timer is not a good thing to do. But we'll get to that. It's number 10. But before that, number 9. Remember the game day and keep it open. This is one of the ones, sometimes it's tough. So, we're playing, or okay, we finished a game session, so say we play today. Alright, so 2 weeks from now, 5 o'clock next Thursday, we're going to play. Mark it in your calendar. Write it down. Don't plan to go
skiing
or wakeboarding or whatever. If you had plans beforehand, say something right then and there, so then the GM and the rest of the players, we can work out another time. Don't be oh, you know what, I decided to, go, to knitting class or whatever, instead of coming to the game. That, for me, that's going to get you expelled from my game group super fast. If once or twice, some things might come up, but if it's something silly, really you couldn't have done that on Friday or Wednesday night instead, we talked about it 2-3 weeks ago, be here when we schedule it.
And it's always good to schedule ahead of, 2 weeks ahead of when you want the game. Because then that gives people time to move, work schedule around.
Yeah, most people will know their work schedules at least a couple of weeks out, depending on where you work. So you should be able to know, hey, I'll have Thursday night off. Where I work in the morning, I can come at whatever. And then be on time-ish. Like, we're gamers. Like, it's not work, right? We're not punching in. But if I say 5, like, don't show up at, like, 6:15. Like, the rest of the group is probably waiting for you, and they want to play, and they don't just want to sit around, because then that's going to mumbling and grumbling, and then other stuff, they're going to play other games. By the time you show up, they're not even going to be interested anymore. The GM is going to be disheartened. The other players are going to be like, whatever.
Like, why is D taking so long?
Yeah, it's just, like, it's not cool.
No.
And be prepared. Like, bring your stuff. Be on time. Don't plan anything else. Simple as that. And also, like, this is where I was just talking, so don't bring, like, your girlfriend or boyfriend or your sibling or whatever. Like, if you got a babysit on Thursday night for your 6-year-old brother, like, do not bring him to game night. Stay home. Like, the other players are not going to want some little 6-year-old running around, screaming and raising hell.
It's not cool.
While we're trying to game. There's other times for that. The game is for the gamers. That's that time that they set aside. Last one. Number 10. It's actually I had it backwards. 9 was the one I was referencing. So number 10, this one is super important, I think. Thou shalt not blame the dice.
That is.
Talk to me about dice blaming, CJ.
Yeah, don't blame your dice. It's not like your dice have anything to do with you rolling poorly. It's all chance. It's all percentage based on how many sides are on the die.
Mm-hmm. For example, let's look at some math. So if you roll 3d6, there is a 0.4629% chance you will roll an 18 or a 3, and a 25% chance that you will get a 10 or an 11. That's it. It's probability. It's mathematics. It doesn't matter what you rolled last time. It doesn't matter if you're on a good or a bad streak. You're not on a roll. Just roll the dice, accept your fate. That's why the game uses it, right? Mm-hmm. Also, there's no good or bad dice. As long as you didn't make them in shop class with a hacksaw, like, they're going to be, factory made, certain specifications, they're all going to roll the same. Yep. Any possible variations between manufacturing dice are so small, like the percentage, it's minuscule. It doesn't even matter. And there's no way to roll dice either.
No. Like, no matter if you roll it, hand to the table or up, or you do this, or you pick it up with 2 fingers.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It all rolls the same way. It's all going to fall onto the table, spin around a few times, and land on a number.
And there's no better way to roll, like we said. But also, so if you're using some weird trick to roll the dice, then we're going to see Commandment 2, now you're cheating. And nobody likes a cheater.
Yep. And don't, toss it all the way up in the air. Because that's just...
Yeah, don't throw dice around. It gets in people's drinks. It knocks stuff over. People spill their drinks. It gets all over the place. So don't blame your dice, right? So you bring your set of dice. It's not the dice's fault if it rolls... The D20 rolls 6 ones in a row. It's just probability. It's not bad luck. Now, I will say something, though. I'm superstitious.
Okay.
Gamers
themselves... We are superstitious.
Gamers are superstitious in their own way. So, I gamed with this guy at a local game store. So, before tournaments for Warhammer 40k, he played Space Wolves. He would soak his dice in beer.
Best way to do
as a tribute to Russ to give him better luck. Obviously, it doesn't work. Now his dice just
smell like beer.
But it invigorates him and it made him feel better. Like, superstition is one thing, but don't use any tricks or whatever to try to change the way the dice roll. And don't bring handmade dice. That's really what it is.
Yeah, because handmade dice are not weighted right. They're not, shaped the right way. Unless you have all the goddamn machines you need to make a set of dice, which is... No.
Which most of us gamers don't.
Just
but
don't
if you do, cool. Awesome. If you do, we would love to see some.
Yeah.
If you have some pictures, put some links in the comments below. So that's it. for the 10 Commandments. That's kind of how we run our game. It's kind of the stuff that I use as a GM to kind of set that order to make sure that everybody has fun, because that's what I want in the end. So if you have any questions or comments or concerns about it, just put them in the link, put them in the comments below. And then until next time, thanks for coming to the dungeon.
Take it easy.